Your phone has one feature that could explain why so many Christians say they can't hear God. It's not a setting you've never seen. You've used it today already. It's called notifications. And once you understand exactly how it works, you'll never look at it the same way again. Here's the thing about notifications. Your phone is constantly receiving information. Texts, emails, app updates, weather alerts. All day long, signals are arriving, but you don't see most of them pop up on your screen unless one condition is met. Notifications have to be turned on. Watch this. Right now, this phone has a message waiting. But look at the screen. Nothing. No banner, no sound, no badge. The message arrived. It's sitting right there in the app. But because notifications are off for this app, the phone never told me it came in. Now watch what happens when I go into settings, find this app, and toggle notifications on. Send the same message again. Instantly, a banner drops down. A sound plays. The screen lights up. Same message, same sender. The only thing that changed is whether I gave the phone permission to interrupt me. That's the whole mechanism. Information was never the problem. Access was. Here's where it gets interesting. A lot of people say things like, I wish God would just talk to me. Or, I don't feel like God is speaking into my life right now. And it's treated like God went silent, like the signal stopped. But what if the signal never stopped? What if, like that message, sitting quietly in the app, God has been speaking the whole time, and the notifications were just turned off? Scripture actually describes this exact pattern. In 1 Samuel chapter 3, there's a young boy named Samuel sleeping in the temple. 3 times in one night he hears his name called. 3 times he runs to Eli the priest, assuming it's him. And 3 times Eli says, I didn't call you, go back to sleep. It isn't until the 3rd time that Eli realizes what's happening. He tells Samuel, next time you hear the voice, say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. Notice what happened there. The voice was calling the entire time. Samuel just didn't have a way to recognize it yet. He needed to be told what to listen for, and he needed to respond by turning his attention toward it. That's notifications. God wasn't waiting for Samuel to guess correctly. Samuel needed the setting turned on, so to speak. He needed to expect that the voice was for him and be ready to answer. Now here's the second layer, and this is the part most people miss. Even with notifications turned on, you can still miss them. How many times has your phone buzzed in your pocket and you didn't feel it because you were distracted, or the phone was in another room, or you had it on silent during a meeting? The notification fired. It existed, but you weren't in a position to receive it. This is basically what Scripture calls being spiritually distracted, or hard-hearted, or asleep. In the book of Revelation, Jesus says, Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. That word, hears, assumes the possibility of not hearing, not because the knock isn't real, but because the person on the other side is too consumed with noise or busy or asleep to notice it. So the question was never, does God still speak? The question is, are your notifications on, and are you in a position to receive them? Practically, this changes how you approach your faith. Turning on notifications for God looks like specific, repeatable things. It looks like opening Scripture daily instead of only when you feel desperate. It looks like sitting in silence for even 5 minutes without your phone, giving space for a thought or a conviction to surface. It looks like paying attention to conscience, that quiet nudge you get before doing something you know is wrong. That nudge is a notification. Most people swipe it away without reading it. Go back to the phone for a second. Notice something else. Notifications aren't loud by default. They're a banner, a small vibration, a quiet chime. The system isn't designed to scream at you, it's designed to gently interrupt, and trust that you'll choose to look. That's remarkably similar to how the Bible describes God's voice. In 1 Kings 19, the prophet Elijah is told God is about to pass by, there's a huge wind, God isn't in the wind. Then an earthquake. God isn't in the earthquake. Then fire. God isn't in the fire. And then a still, small voice. That's where God was. Not the wind, not the earthquake, the whisper. If you're waiting for something dramatic to prove God is speaking to you, you might be scanning right past the actual notification because you're expecting fireworks instead of a banner. So here's the practical takeaway. Go check your phone right now. Look at which apps you've allowed to interrupt you and which ones you've silenced. Then ask yourself the same question about your life. What have you given permission to speak into you? News, social media, other people's opinions, constant noise? And what have you quietly turned off? If you want to hear God, the first step isn't asking him to speak louder. It's turning your notifications back on and staying close enough to notice when they arrive.